to Glenlarden, and we are going to start off by selling the ridiculous amount of grain mix that, well, actually we're going to start by crashing the truck, because it's me. So yeah, we've got 200 and something thousand litres of grain mix. I'm going to 240,000 litres. We'll get there in a sec and we'll see. There you go, 239,999 litres of grain mix. So, yep. If we go into time-saving stock check, we will see that that is worth £235,000. We could hang on to it and make a little bit more, but I have decided that we are going to sell the grain mix and we're going to use it to buy field 8. I keep going on about wanting to buy it, so yeah. We also have a load of corn that we could turn into CCM or raw CCM, but I need to add a sell point to the map to do that because we don't have one currently. That's easy to do. I have updated to the new version of the map. So you'll see the first change you'll see is we've got new hedges. One of the problems that I had when I updated the map was that all of the hedges, and not sure about trees, but certainly all of the hedges had disappeared because they are a new, much taller model. That was relatively easy to fix. What you want to do is create a new save game, a blank one. So we just get this. So if you create a new blank save game and then copy the splitshapes.gmss file from that into your existing save, that will bring them back. It will also bring back any that you've cut down and any trees that you've cut down. So bear that in mind, but that will get you the hedges back. Thank you, Cavalier Roy, for helping me out on whatever day it was when I decided to update the map and had a bit of a panic. So yeah. They're still cuttable. They just look, they're much taller now, which is kind of what you would expect in the UK. We generally have quite tall hedges around our countryside roads. So we've sold a bunch of the grain mix. We've got 71,000 litres left, and we have enough cash to buy field 8. And I did say I wouldn't buy it while I had the crop in, but I've changed my mind. So £238,000. It's not the best field in terms of soil, but we're going to purchase the soil information. We don't yet have the capabilities to do it ourselves. So we're going to do that, and then we'll jump out and have a quick look at what the condition of the ground is. So pH is good, which is nice. Nitrogen is awful, so we're only looking at an 85% yield. The crop rotation is good as well, so yep. But it's 85% of something which we wouldn't have had, so that's going to be a big job to tackle. My plan is to probably start doing that the later part of November and into December and sell them direct off the field. I don't want to keep any of them. We've got loads. We've got more than enough to feed the cows, and the price peaks in kind of December anyway, so that sort of makes sense to me. And we'll get back a bunch of the money from buying the field, and then we're going to develop some of that into kind of mixed use, I think. Some of it is going to be set aside for planting some of the new crops, and some of it is going to be set aside for getting some sheep or goats. I'm not sure which. So we're just going to sell the last of the grain mix. I was wondering why it worked out to be exact amounts, but it's because we mill it in exact amounts. We mill it in 15,000 litre chunks, so that's why. And we're going to end up pretty much back where we were from a money point of view, and we've got ourselves a huge field, which has got potatoes in it. So the only complication is going to be if we get a lot of bad weather, we're going to struggle to get them harvested with our harvester, because it's got quite small wheels on it, so it does struggle in the wet weather. So if that's the case, we will have to look at a pull behind probably and put it on one of the bigger tractors, but we'll see how we get on. And we had to have a quick pause there because Joker was missing me because I'm upstairs and he's downstairs and he doesn't like that. He can't come upstairs. His legs are far too fragile for that. So let's have a look at how much money we made. So 238,000 to buy the field and 252,000. I think that's mostly what we got from the grain mix. So basically we paid for the field plus the crop scanning out of the grain mix. We had to spend some money on buying the wheat to complete the mix. I don't remember exactly how much we spent on that, but the rest of the crop was excess from harvesting contracts. So it was essentially, well, free, not free money, because the guys did a whole bunch of work to harvest that. So for those of you that loved the header parking video, we're going to park a trailer. So I'm taking the advice that I keep getting, that it is much easier to park dolly trailers when you attach them to the front of a vehicle. Now, it took me a little bit to get my brain in as to how to do this. I think I was being far too aggressive with my front wheel maneuvering. But, you know, we can now look forward to a solid 28 minutes of me parking a trailer. So buckle up. This is going to be fun. Those of you that haven't tuned out, I'm joking. We've got plenty of other stuff to do. And what I'm going to do now is say thank you to the patrons and the YouTube channel members. Appreciate you guys supporting the channel. You are all awesome. So, yeah, we're going to get this parked. We're then actually going to skip ahead to November and we are going to do a last cut for silage. I'm going to have to bale it because the clamp's got maize in it. And my plan is to bale, wrap, leave it in the field to ferment, and then look at that sunrise. It's just awesome. We're going to sell some milk as well. Yeah, we're going to leave it in the field to ferment, and I'm just going to sell them because we do not need even more grass silage. We have so much feed that I think we are pretty good for how much food we've got. So I'm just going to sell it and we're going to get the cash in. I don't want to end up where we were before, where we had such a huge excess of bales all of the time. Cash flow is much more important, particularly as we go into the new year. Because when we hit August, we're going to be buying some new stuffs, and you know, we're probably going to need to. So like all of the kind of this era of John Deere's that we're running, we brought new. This tractor's got 37 hours on it already. We are well into the point where, if you watched my video, repair is going to be costing us a lot more. We're going to be taking a lot more damage for the jobs that we do. So it's really kind of, with the way the kit gets worked on this farm, with the contracting, replacing tractors every 2 years is just something we need to do. You know, I would not be surprised. I'm not sure of the hours on the other ones. I think my 7810 is pretty low hour because it doesn't get used by the contracting side of things. But I would not be surprised if most of these tractors aren't up at this kind of hourage. So you will have noticed the hours have gone up. That is because I have already mown, ted and windrowed the other two bits of grass that we've got. So the other two are the two half fields that we've got. Well, it was like a half and 2/3 of a half because we'd been using it for zero grazing. So I got those mowed, ted and windrowed. I thought I would just show you me doing one field of this work because it's all pretty repetitive. So I had actually wanted to do this as a video with live commentary, because I thought maybe we could do that. And it was a nice little job to get this cut. I'm tedding it all to semi-dry so we can get more in the bales, and windrowed. It was, you know, kind of good, cool farm sim stuff. And so it's Sunday morning. Mrs. D is away for the weekend seeing the teenager with mother-in-law and grandmother-in-law. So I'm at home doing dog sitting stuff, and I had planned or hoped to get so many videos done, but so the neighbors yesterday had, I think they were having some work done in the house or something late yesterday, and they had vans coming and going and doors shutting, and the dogs always think that is, someone coming to our house, so they were barking every time. If you watched today's Timberborn video, you will have had me saying constantly, just had to stop because of the dogs. And then with Joker's dementia, he doesn't do well being left for, long periods of time. So I felt that I didn't want to spend an hour up here recording a video as a live version. So I sat downstairs with him, played, and we've got one of my normal edited videos. And to be honest, you're probably getting a better video, because by the time I got to the point where I was going to make that video, I was really freaking tired. I got up at 5 a.m. yesterday on a Saturday. I know, I'm crazy. The reason I do that, I actually get up at 5 a.m. most days, because if I'm going to take the dogs out and have a somewhat enjoyable experience for me and at least the collies, I have to take them out at about 6 in the morning when there's almost no one else about, because if we meet other dogs, they just do not like it. It's Disco does not like other dogs. He has never liked other dogs. He has been to dog training, we've done all sorts of things, and we could never get him beyond the fear, and it's fear of other dogs. I think it comes from, or we think it comes from, when he was a puppy. He was a bit late leaving the breeder and spent quite a lot of time in, kind of communal care with a couple of other litters of slightly younger puppies. And yeah, he's always been a bit nervous of other dogs, even though we've always had him with other dogs. So yeah, I was up at 5, took the dogs out, went for a run, and that meant that by about 8:30 I was struggling to stay awake. So actually I was probably it was going to be sort of 6:30 when I was playing this and was going to record the video with the live commentary, and I was not awake enough. Editing this video and the Timberborn video, I was like one eye open, and actually editing the Timberborn video, I would edit a clip, get the clip set up, and then listen to it with kind of my eyes shut and almost falling asleep. And actually, I think it was about 9 o'clock, I fell asleep in the chair, because I'm that rock and roll. It is what it is. I'm not going to pretend to be one of those gamers who's up all night until 4 in the morning gaming. I sleep badly, and that's part of the reason that I sleep early. I fell asleep in the chair at about 9. Woke up just after 10 because I had to let the dogs out. And then Joker woke me up at about midnight because he was being dementia-y. And then I slept until 5, 5:15. I didn't have an alarm set. It's just when I woke up. So yeah, if I want to get enough sleep, I can fall asleep early, and with exercising and stuff, I need sleep to recover, and my brain needs sleep to recover. I do not think well on not enough sleep. So, and I think in the end, I actually had a decent amount of sleep. I just sleep early. So, yeah, don't feel too tired today. Kind of normal, slightly less than normal tide. Maybe. We'll see how the day goes. So almost done with mowing this field. As I said, we're going to ted it to semi-dry. That is a feature of Maize Plus if you're new to this series and my videos and Maize Plus. Maize Plus has 4 states of grass rather than the 2 of the base game. So rather than grass and hay, we have fresh or wet grass, conditioned grass, which is what this is, which you get from mowing with the conditioner enabled, semi-dry grass, which is what we're going to go to next, and then hay. And the benefit of going from, so fresh grass, conditioned grass and semi-dry grass can all be baled and wrapped to be silage, but words can all be wrapped and baled to be silage. But as you go from fresh or wet grass to conditioned to semi-dry and you take the moisture out, you can get more density in the bale, and that equates to more volume in the bale. Yeah, so that's why I'm doing this extra step. It is an extra process, but it's worth it because it means we have less bales to handle. And I don't have swathing mowers anyway. If I had swathing mowers, I might not do this step. But because we don't, I think it's worth doing. So, and I do love the sound of this tractor. For once, I was playing with the sound on. I just really enjoy the sound of this tractor. I don't remember. I think I might have swapped the sound file. I genuinely don't remember whether I did or not. It may not be completely what a John Deere sounds like, but I think it sounds cool. So it's the sound it's going to have. Yeah, I'm somewhat tempted, but equally not tempted because the limitation that this is a multiplayer game. I'm really tempted to add the Farmall 1060 onto here, but I know probably most of the DS Agri guys won't have brought that, so I probably won't. Which I might add them on to Saxthorpe. I think the Farmall C would be a brilliant tractor on there for when we get into doing cows, because that's what, it's a yard tractor really, isn't it? I think I mean, I guess for a smaller farm it's an all-round tractor, but for the scale of farm that we've got on Saxthorpe, it's a yard tractor. So I think it would be really good at that job. It reminds me a lot of the small class with the panoramic cab, which again was a great little yard tractor. It's great for doing a load of work. The loader that comes with it is quite small, so whether it will reach into a big feed mixer, I don't know, because we will need a big feed mixer on there. But yeah, and when this releases, we are a day away from the premium edition. I have no idea what I'm going to do content wise for the premium edition. I might just add it in and play, I have seen but I haven't watched yet that Argsy's done a video on which is the best crop. So personally, if someone else has done a video like that, I generally don't see the point. The World and his wife is going to be playing Zalonka, aren't they? So, and I don't really have room for another Let's Play series, so I think initially I'm just going to add it in. I'll probably do something on customizing the feeding for Maize Plus, so how we can add them into that. That might be the first video that I do, so I might do a little stream. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure what my diary looks like for Tuesday at work, because it is a work day for me. I'll be working at home, but it is a work day for me. So, and I think the guys that get the early access this time have done a great job. So the only people that I've watched are Argsy and FSG so far. VF's done a video that I want to watch because he's looked at animal feeding. Because I'm kind of curious in advance to see how that works, because the platinum expansion does add the root crops to the animal feeding, I think. Yeah. But FSG did a really good one on what happens with mod maps, and he showed that off. And so I watched Argsy stream, and I want to watch his one on which is the best crop, and pretty sure I know that it's carrots already. That was pretty obvious from the fact sheets, but it's good to watch these guys' stuff. I find it quite amusing, actually. It's somewhat frustrating, I will admit, that there are a few YouTubers that have, they got their bronze partnership a long time ago when they were much more active, and so they still get access to the preview stuff, and it's almost the only videos that they make ever. You won't see anything from them for months, and then they'll get early access to a DLC or whatever, and suddenly they're making 5 videos over the weekend. Don't blame them. I would do the same probably. If I sound a little bit bitter about that, maybe. I think, like most people, I would love to get early access to this content, and unless I drop 800 euros to get enough revenue to qualify, that just feels like forever away at the moment. I guess it's like it kind of feels a bit like the 1,000 subscriber thing on YouTube. That's a massive grind. I know that, been through it, and it now feels like getting to bronze partner is an equally massive grind. I'll get there, I'm sure. It's if you're going to pick anything up from the Giants website, use partner code Disturbed. I'll get there, but it does frustrate me a little bit sometimes, as I'm sure it does all content creators that haven't got it. So I am complaining a little bit. Mostly I'm explaining. Do love that expression. Good old Mr. CDP. So, seeing as my buddy Kartek kind of announced it in his video, I think I've only really properly mentioned it in a video for the patrons. I am hoping to go to Lama. It is still dependent on some domestic stuff, because it means I'm going to be away from home for a couple of days, and that means Mrs. D is going to be looking after stuff on her own. But that's my intent, so I will probably be at that. And that's about that. I'm sure a bunch of you will be as well. You might get to see me. Who knows? You might not care. I don't know. Yeah. That's that, I guess. And we're on to windrowing. And I'm doing the windrowing differently. And I think in the end, I decided I didn't like this approach. I suspect it's not very realistic, but this field is a bit of a pain because it's not square. And so I thought, I always found that when I was windrowing this field, if I did headlands and then up down rows, the diagonal corner off to the left was always a pain. So I figured I would do the up downs first and then do the headlands. I think the better way to do this field would have been to run the headlands, bale the headlands, and then do the up down rows. But I am saving baling for next time, so spoiler. And so I thought I'd try this. I kind of, the other, I don't know. There's just something that jumped into my head as a way of doing it. I mean, I know that, from watching people like Cow Farmer Dan, it seems quite common that you would windrow the headlands, clear the headlands, and then do the up down rows a lot of the time. And that makes more sense to me, but I wanted to do these 3 jobs today, and then we'll do the baling next time. That may even be next game day. I'm not sure yet. Depends if I put this up on multiplayer server, and those guys will probably use the rest of the day if they get on there. So I'm leaving enough room on either side for 2 GPS tracks worth of headland. That theory was great until I cleared the GPS course off at one point. It still sort of worked. So yeah. So this yeah, I mean, this I didn't look, and the 4440 is pretty new to us. But I mean, this 7810 is on 30 hours, so again, it's getting up there in terms of being expensive to maintain. So definitely by the time we get through to next August, we will be looking to mostly retire these and replace them with a new fleet of tractors. And I guess that's kind of what happens with, contracting businesses. They put a lot of hours on their kit, and that's how this has worked out. It's kind of weird for me because, usually my tractors don't accumulate hours that quickly, but not a bad thing. And actually, someone commented on one of the 2 repair videos a really cool idea for some clever scripter out there, if any of you are watching, well, welcome to this idea, to have a mod that let you do a tractor refurb for some amount of money, and it reset or reduce the operating hours so that you got back to slightly cheaper repairs. And that's quite interesting. I mean, if you wanted to do that, you could do it yourself easily enough on PC, and it would be a PC only mod anyway, because it would be scripts. But if you're on PC, you could just use EasyDev, because EasyDev lets you set operating hours. So you could decide, I don't know, that it's going to cost you £10,000 to refurbish your tractor, and you could use EasyDev to deduct £10,000, and then you could use EasyDev to reset the hours. That would work. And I guess it depends. The bit that would be complex, I guess, is if you wanted something that would keep showing you the operating hours of the vehicle, but alter the repair cost. And I think that would be really difficult in general. I'm sure some clever scripter could do it, but my noddy way of enabling that would be to use EasyDev. That would work. If you had a favorite tractor, then yeah, you could do that. I mean, I guess the equivalent way on console would be to sell and rebuy and use some method of recovering the delta in money, whether that's a buy point that lets you buy crops cheap and then selling them, or whatever. There's ways, I guess. There's ways. And not just Waze, the car navigation app. But we're on to the headlands now, and I'd reset the GPS course, and actually I managed to quickly set it again anyway, reasonably okay. So if you are thinking that it doesn't look like I've got much of a crop off of this, people quite often say that. The way heaps work on the ground is that you have one number defined that does windrows, that does you tipping stuff on the ground and tipping stuff in bunkers. And there is a balancing act of And it doesn't affect the yield in litres. It just affects how big it looks on the ground. And so, you know, the compromise is, how much do you want to be able to fit in a bunker, or how big do you want the mountain of crop to be when you tip it on the ground, versus how big do you want it to look in the field when it's a swath? People always seem to struggle with that. You know, the three are linked, and they do not affect how much crop you pick up off the ground. It's just visually how tall the swath or the pile is. I have had at least one conversation with that on Discord, and people go, oh, just make the number bigger. And it's like, well, you can. You don't get any more litres or any less litres if it's small. What you get is sometimes unmanageable piles. I mean, how many times have you done trying to empty hay out of a trailer or something, and you just get this ridiculous mountain of crop on the ground? That's it. That's the thing. Yeah, it's a balancing act, and it's a slightly smaller swath. There's loads of crop there. I have no doubt we're going to get loads of bales off of this. So I thought I'd mention that one because quite often it does come up. So yeah. Next time, it's a contemplative pause there. This is why you don't get hour-long farm sim videos, because I've been talking for 30 minutes, and talking for an hour like this is much harder than talking for an hour like I do on a Timberborn video, because when I talk on a Timberborn video, I'm just talking about what I'm doing in the game. So, you know, if you wanted videos that were more like, okay, I'm going to turn around this corner now, and we can probably get rid of the GPS course now, and yeah, if you want videos like that, they could be an hour long, but there would be no ramblification and none of the thing that I think makes my videos a bit different. So yeah, that's why they're different. I don't really ramble in Timberborn videos. I talk about what I'm doing, although I am rambling occasionally in those, usually at the end for about sometimes 20 minutes. Yeah. But anyway, we are pretty much done with the headlands now. We've got a little bit to do at the top, and I was a little bit premature with folding up the windrower. I know. The disappointment of being premature. So next time, I think we'll be getting this baled. Not sure what game date it will be. And then I don't know how long it's going to take to harvest that potato field. I'm going to try and not have it be more than a video, but it might be. You know, it's a big job for the kit that we've got. Right, we'll see. We will see. But yeah, I think that's the windrowing done. I do try and be a bit sneaky here, and pull the little bit that I've got kind of like a bus stop up here. To pull that into one swath, just to make baling easier. There we go. That's going to be a little bit easier. It's not perfect, but, and so I think I prefer doing the headlands first still. This was just a bit of an experiment to see how it went. And yeah, those are the new hedges, which we keep seeing, and I've not really talked about. So much taller, taller and narrower, I think. Or they look narrow because they're taller. I don't know. Something like that. The thing I think I was going to plough in one of these pastures. I think it was the one on the left. Put barley in. But I think we might do that as a spring crop. And that'll give us a bit of flexibility if we want to shift and do one of the new root crops as well. I think that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, click the like button, and I will see you next time.